Hello guys, it's Revolution. In this video we are going to be talking about the power of the Gammas, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 from the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, and of course today is the day that chapter 90 of the Dragon Ball Super manga came out, which means the prequel to the superhero movie in the manga has ended. It will be continuing and they will be doing an adaptation of superhero in the manga, which is interesting considering they skipped Resurrection of F and Broly. So it's going to be very interesting on what they do with the power scaling in that regard. Toyotaro will have to cover Goku and Vegeta bringing Broly to Beerus' planet. The conversations that will have to happen post Black Frieza destroying them in gas will have to happen on Beerus' planet. Some big power scaling answers will be right around the corner. Will the Gammas get the same power that's been stated on numerous occasions about them in the manga, or will it be changed? Will Orange Piccolo, will Beast Gohan, will Cell Max? It's going to be very interesting. It's hard to see Toyotaro rewriting what Toriyama's already written, but it's possible. But for now, we're looking at how the depiction of the Gammas from the movie and all supporting materials has them scaled. Now, the reason I'm doing this, I think they're imperative to actually scale amongst the series. And obviously you probably see my thumbnail is using two previous villains, two extremely powerful previous villains, to get a grasp on exactly how powerful these androids are. But the reason I want to do this is because I've been doing a lot of polls on my community tab lately. If you haven't seen them, go onto my channel and just go onto the community poll, and you'll see loads of polls with loads of verse battles. There's some really good verse battles going on in there, and you can get your vote in and have your say. I want to know what you think, so you can add to the dialectic about the power scaling in the current paradigm of Dragon Ball Super. Guys, just click on the channel, go visit the community tab. But one of the things I've noticed is a lot of people disagree on exactly how powerful these androids are. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 have people divided. Some people believe they're blue levels, some people believe they're ultra levels, some people believe they could potentially be stronger. And guys, it's really important that down below in the comment section you make your thoughts heard on this. I want to know what you think. How powerful are Gamma 1 and Gamma 2? Obviously, what we know from the movie is that Piccolo states that these androids are on the level of Goku and Vegeta. Now, from Piccolo's perspective, as far as we're aware, the last time he saw Goku and Vegeta in action were against Moro. Obviously, I'm crossing two different continuities here, but we're doing it as a prediction that the story and narrative from the movie itself will also cross into the manga. I know there will be differences, but usually the spine of the story is generally the same, especially when it comes to the main characters, and Gammas are some of the main characters of this particular story. So Piccolo states that these two characters are on the level of Goku and Vegeta. As far as Piccolo's aware, he's seen Ultra Instinct Goku against Moro. Now, this is a Goku that can tap into Ultra Instincts at will. This isn't the Ultra Instinct of the Tournament of Power. He saw that as well. He was able to gauge Jiren's power in the Tournament of Power, so whilst he cannot sense Ultra Instincts, he can sense Jiren, and he can basically scale Ultra Instinct Goku off of what he feels from Jiren. And he could do the same with Moro. He could sense Moro's power, and ultimately he could scale Goku based off of that power. So Piccolo does have a good gauge. Is it immensely accurate? I guess you could argue that, but ultimately he does have an idea of exactly how powerful Goku is with Ultra Instinct. Obviously Vegeta himself did not have Ultra Instincts. He only could access Super Saiyan Blue Evolved against Moro. Piccolo witnessed Vegeta get slaughtered by Moro 7-3 in that arc. So once again, he has a good idea of how powerful Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta is. Now, the difference between Blue Evolved Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku, based off their fight against Moro, you would say it was pretty massive. But given the statements about Jiren from Vegeta in the superhero movie, it's arguable that that gap isn't as big as we thought, at least in terms of raw power. Now, Ultra Instinct has a lot going for it, not just raw power. It has a lot of other abilities that could make that victory that he got over Moro and that gap seem a lot smaller than what it was. Maybe these gaps are much more incremental than we originally thought, and not the big multiplications over the previous transformations that we thought. So even if you want to pit them at, say, Blue Evolved and Blue Kaioken levels, they're possibly, in terms of raw power, not that far off Ultra Instinct as it is anyway. However, what we do learn is that Toriyama stated that Orange Piccolo is on par with Goku and Vegeta. Now, that is more of a overarching comment because it's coming from the author himself, and he could be commenting on the time of Piccolo as of the movie of Superhero. In fact, I believe he is. So he's likely referring to Goku and Vegeta at their most powerful, which will be Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct. I will refer to them as the Ultra forms. Now, it's pretty undisputable that Toriyama knows what Goku and Vegeta's most powerful forms are. He simply stated that, and does the transformation particularly make that much sense? Not right now, but as I keep saying over and over again, if it's something to do with a Dragon Ball power or Super Dragon Ball power with Super Shenron, or even further than that, Zalama, who could potentially gift God powers, then you know that transformation would have a lot of merit being at these ultra levels. Anyway, it is, because that's what Toriyama stated, and we're just going to have to deal with it. Obviously, what we do know is that the Gammas could not compete with Orange Piccolo. Or could they? Well, we did see against Orange Piccolo that Gamma 2 was having no effect against Orange Piccolo. He was literally tanking all of Gamma's hits in his newfound orange transformation. However, what we also do know is that Gamma 2 at full power was able to damage Cell Max. Now, this Cell Max was at his most powerful that we saw during the movie, because it was after Gamma 2 hit Cell Max using that attack that ultimately cost him his life, that lowered Cell Max's power, that allowed Orange Piccolo to somewhat compete, and even then Orange Piccolo still got an ass whooping. Obviously, we know that Gamma 2 would have got an ass whooping as well, and it was basically just an all-out attack, but it was a pretty impressive feat because he literally destroyed one of Cell Max's arms. Obviously, it was Beast Gohan that was too powerful for Cell Max in the end, but would he have been too powerful for a Cell Max that hadn't been hit by Gamma 2? Self-destructing attacks are usually huge amps in terms of their power. They go way beyond the likes of the Kamehameha, Gallic Guns, and even the Final Flash for Vegeta. But what this feat should really tell us is that these Gammas are in the realms of power of the Orange Piccolos, the Gohan Beasts, and the Cell Maxes to do that much damage. Now, I know you're going to point to the fact that Krillin kicked Cell Max and seemed to do damage as well, but what Gamma did was distinctive damage, basically. So ultimately, it was a match-affecting attack, and he was able to use that much attacking potency. And obviously, we got the statements at the end with Gohan and Piccolo saying that even with Goku or Vegeta there, they may not have been enough to take out Cell Max. And obviously, we know the Gammas on their own wouldn't have been enough to take out Cell Max. The only one that could really take out Cell Max was Gohan Beast. But Gohan seems to be putting those two characters in the same bracket as the Gammas. I'm talking about Goku and Vegeta, as that they weren't strong enough to defeat Cell Max. He did say might not have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is the gap cannot be that big of a difference. Once again, Gohan and Piccolo may not know about Ultra Ego from Vegeta that he attained in the Granolah arc. They may not have come back to Earth and shown off their transformations. And obviously Goku got stronger in the Granolah arc as well. Not just with his regular Ultra Instincts, he's stronger than the Susano Ultra Instinct that Piccolo and Gohan saw in the Moro arc. He's then got True Ultra Instinct. True Ultra Instinct in the Granolah arc is more powerful than any demonstrations given of Ultra Instinct so far, the Silverhead Ultra Instinct, but that doesn't mean that it's a more powerful form. Like I said, I'll do that in another video because it's a more complex matter, but ultimately Goku's gotten stronger with Ultra Instinct, True Ultra Instinct, so Gohan and Piccolo might not know about these forms, and more importantly so, the Red Ribbon Army might not know about these more powered up variants. So with the Red Ribbon Army, it takes me back to Dragon Ball Z. I always found it unbelievable that a civilization that couldn't build spaceships, that could travel faster than light, at the time, obviously the time of the Namek Saga, were all of a sudden able to build biological androids that could compete with Super Saiyans. Goku had just defeated Frieza, who could destroy planets with ease. We were supposed to believe that Jiren had just built these androids. It does seem ridiculous, and obviously it is fiction, so these things can happen, but I've always had that what the hell moment with that kind of thing. So it's basically what the narrative demands at the time, and that's what the narrative demanded at that time. The narrative now demands that characters have to be as powerful as Goku and Vegeta now, and they are stupidly powerful now. Obviously way more powerful than Namek Saga levels or Android Saga levels or Cell Saga levels, but ultimately What I'm trying to say is that these characters have been made that powerful to compete with Goku and Vegeta. Now, there is a guide that states that they are made to compete with Goku and Vegeta. We know the Red Ribbon Army wants to take out Goku, Vegeta, Majin Buu, and Mr. Satan, of course. So why would they not build androids to compete with those levels of power? We know from Toriyama's comments in Cell Max that Cell Max is beyond those levels of power. Toriyama doesn't say too much about the Gamma's levels of power, but in terms of the perspective of Red Ribbon Army and Dr. Hedo, who we know is supposed to be even smarter than Jiro, why would he not build these androids to be that strong? I believe they are in the realms of power. I think it is difficult to argue whether they're at high tier blue levels, which, you know, like I said in previous videos, would put them beyond tournament of power levels, going on those statements in Superhero about Jiren's power compared to theirs at the time, and potentially even Moro arc levels when you think about how strong Goku and Vegeta have gotten throughout the Granolah arc, and potentially even beyond that, because Superhero chronologically takes place later than the Moro arc. Maybe Angel Morris or Planet Moro is a bit of a stretch. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Could the Gammas take out those versions of Moro? But I can't see why they wouldn't be in the realms of at least Moro 7-3's power. Obviously, we got in today's chapter as well that Hedo has created a more intelligent model than Tentamaru. Tentamaru was the bug that flew around during the early Z days and took in all their powers and collected data on all the Z warriors and eventually fed that data and the Cell information so that they could go towards Cell. Hedo has created an even more powerful version of that. However, it's likely he created that after the events of Moro. But the Red Ribbon Army, and maybe even Hedo himself, may have information regarding the Battle of Earth against Moro, and maybe even the battle against Broly. So it is quite possible that they've collected information on these godlike powers. They may even have collected information on Beerus. I guess you could say, how do these technological bugs collect information on godlike beings? That is a question to be raised. Now, one big argument I've seen come up against the Gammas in terms of their power is that when Gohan gets his ultimate form in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie, Ultimate Gohan does seem to be able to compete at a level playing against Gamma 1, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that seems to be quite an even battle. So where is Ultimate Gohan in relation to the god forms of Goku and Vegeta? It's hard to believe that he's even beyond god levels, to be honest. If you go on the anime, the Ultimate Gohan we saw in the Tournament of Power could not compete with Toppo at all, and that wouldn't put him at blue levels. However, in the manga, of course, even a base Gohan or Ultimate Gohan, whatever that is that we saw in the manga of Gohan, was able to compete with a Super Saiyan Kefla. The Kefla in the manga isn't as powerful as the anime version, but still, it was a pretty impressive feat nonetheless, and it demonstrated that he'd gone way past his Buu Saga levels. Since then, he has trained and fought on and off. Of course, he took part in the Moro arc, but he was useless against Sagambo, who Goku literally obliterated with his blue form. He may have used Sign in there as well, but he seemed far off the level despite training for 2 months. Then, of course, Superhero comes around, and we're supposed to believe his ultimate form is on the level of these blue transformations of Goku and Vegeta, if not higher. Now, the ultimate form does have a lot of potential, but it does feel like a hard thing to swallow that ultimate is at blue levels, considering what we know Goku and Vegeta have gone through. But he is a half-breed Saiyan, and we know that him and Future Trunks especially get Aspal after Aspal. So where do I believe the Gamma's power levels lie? I believe they do lie at Moro arc ultra levels. Now, I know that's going to be controversial, but ultimately they couldn't compete with Orange Piccolo seemingly, but Orange Piccolo is on par with a current Ultra Ego Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku, as per Toriyama's quotes. And to me, it just makes a lot of sense for the Red Ribbon Army and Hedo, providing they do know about the Moro arc, which I'm going on a limb here and assuming they do, that they would make them as powerful as the characters that were on display during that particular battle. So I accept I'm judging from conjecture here, but ultimately what I want to know is your thoughts on this, guys. How powerful are the Gammas? What's also impressive about the Gammas as well is that they can ultimately run at full power until their battery runs out. I am surprised about that, why they didn't build them like Android 17 and 18, and getting a comparison of how they were built in comparison to Android 17 and 18 in the manga would be really a nice bit of work. I'd like to see that. They could really drop in a lot of useful information in the superhero movies. The stuff about Broly going to Beerus's planet, Frieza, the plans for Frieza, and obviously how the androids are built and how Cell Max was built and why Cell Max wasn't built in a similar vein to the previous Cell that had everybody else's genes. But guys, like I said, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. That's all from me on this video. Guys, stop sleeping on my latest videos. I've put out some really good videos over the last few days. I don't know if YouTube's letting you know about these videos, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification button is pressed on so you're notified when these videos come out. Got loads of videos to come, some really good videos, and maybe even a One Piece video coming soon, so keep an eye out for it. Smash that like button, lend the Daishenkin your energy. Until next time, Ad Astra.